web development class powered by Tech Institute. Last class, we have discussed about HTML. Okay, we talked about the tools required to install VS Code, Chrome browser, live server extension, and you should have a stable internet plus what? Laptop. So we also explain the difference between front end, back end, and API. Also, we move into HTML, which is what? An acronym for Hypertext Markup Language. It's a standard language used to create and structure content on the website. We explain some basic tags like headings. We have the H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. We also explain paragraph tags, image tags. We explain the links, the list, and other tags also. So if you want to learn more about all these tags, you can easily go into our online W3 school to read more about HTML. So today, we're moving towards CSS. We learn the fundamental of CSS and basic rules, citators, properties, color, fonts, margin, padding, and flex pages, flexbox basics. Yes, CSS is an acronym for Cascading Style Sheet. It is standard styling language used to design, format, and control the virtual appearance of web pages. So the CSS is used in what to beautify the web, the HTML tags we have done before. So we use CSS to make it look more good. So that is function of CSS. Okay, let's open our previous class. So what the stuff we have a folder here for the class. So right click, open terminal, and code space dot enter. Wait for it to launch our VS Code. Okay, we are back here. Let me run this. Go, okay, going to what? Let me clear this one. So also this here, let me clear this also. Okay, and so let me clear this one. Okay, let me click on go live so I can see the output of what we are doing. Yeah, back to our project. Okay, let's see. We have to create a file called what style.css. Style is the file name, while CSS is the what is the extension. You can give it different name like global.css in some cases, style.css. So, but using style.css is a conventional naming for HTML, just HTML CSS project. So these files, index.html and style.css, they are standalone. They don't have any connection. We have to what first link them together so that they can communicate. So after this title page, press enter and click ours and press and type link. Just scroll down and select link CSS. So the relationship is what style sheet, while the href, which is the part where our style is. So the further use was style.css. They must match. They must what? Match. If they don't match, they won't communicate. So style.css and CSS. Good. So with this line of code, that means we are successful to link our what? HTML and what CSS together. They're not communicating. So let's use let's start with H1 tag. Welcome to CSS class. So now let me check the output on my website. Okay, good. So the first thing to be doing is what I'll learn about what selectors and properties. How will you select HTML element you want to style? So this h1 tag, so you can select using what? Using number one, tag name, number two, class, number three, ID. There are other ways that I can use select element tag also, but these are the basic one. So if you want to select, want to style this h1 now, you just have to get the tag name, which is what? h1. Come to our style CSS h1 and open with what? Curly bracket. You open curly bracket. Bracket has a lot of meaning in programming language. So you can see when we are dealing with tags, we are using what? Angular bracket. So when we want to style in, we are using what? Curly bracket. So we should use, make sure you're using what? The appropriate bracket that is meant for every position, every, I mean, in each case want to use. Some cases will be using what? Parentheses. Some cases will be using what? Curly brackets. So for A in styling, what is what? Curly brackets. So there's a style we can call, what we can call color, and we set the value to be what? Red. So color is red. Let's check back our, I said now it's change from default color to what? To red color with our CSS style. Also, we can change the font size to what? 30, let's say 45 pixels. So font size has what? Value and units. So some property we just have only what? Only value. Why some we have what? Value and units. Example of those that have value and units is what? Font size. Font size it has what? Value and unit. And the units can be what? Pixel, percentage, EM, REM, VM, VH, sorry, VH, and VW. So depend. So once we are going further, we learn more on how to use it. But let's stick to what? Pixel for now. So I see this for pixel. You can increase the size to any what you like, any value you like. It's on the pixel. So you can see it's to increase the size. Good. So let me just stick to my 45 pixel back. So there's H1. Okay, let's get back to our index. We can also type what? Tag, paragraph tag, tally tag. So save. Come to our style here. So to style the P tag now, the tag name is what? Is P. So style with P and go with your styling. That's what color. We what? Blue. And don't forget you must end it to what? Semicolon. That's terminates, that means you are done with the what? That styling line. So if you don't end the semicolon, it should be what? An error. So color and font size. What I say it's 6 pixel. Also we have font family also. So let's drill down. Font family means what? You write now it should write it. So we have Vandana, we have Geneva, we have Toma, we have sans serif. So we have Vandana, Geneva, Toma, sans serif. So now you can see the first priority is what? Vandana, Geneva, followed by Toma, followed by sans serif. That is why I told you in the first part that you should try to install different browser. Because some browser might not have font of banana. So all these Geneva, Toma, and sans serif, they are fallback what font. In case the background whenever banana is fallback to what? Geneva. In case Geneva is not present, it's fallback to what? Toma and like that. Why sans serif is what is the list on the priority. So we have font family here. Okay, let's check out the article to consider. Looking good. All right. The other things we can do with it, we have fonts with also. Font weight, also you can do it in form of 100, 200, 300, 400, 900. Or if you use the kind of English like lighter, light, bold, bolder, semi-bold, normally likes. So I can go with what to be lighter. So it's more light. Okay, you can see the output now. Can select be bold or bolder. Can see now it's more bold. Okay. The next thing we are moving into what? Let's say we have under P tag here, web development. Let's try to understand the basics before we put all these tools into practice. Once we understand the basics, when we are learning, we are trying to practice on a project, so it will be easy, and we'll be explaining little things for us again. So let's say we have development here. So let us start. Okay, you can see I haven't started the development. I'm very started. Why? Because I use a tag name P. So they have the same tag name. So automatically this P style should apply to any element that has what P. So what can I do is like if I don't want to apply to development, I should what make it more. I should just apply class M class. I call it what web. Mhm. Once I use class A as an attribute, the word of what web, I have to come to my what style A to style it now. So I will select it through the class name dot. If you are selecting through a class name is what dot full stop as what prefix. So dot web. So the color should be what? Let's say we have yellow color here. And also on the color also you can change, you can use RGB, you can use any HSL color, you can try to tune the color any you want it. You can use HEX color, value color. So any color you want. So let me just stick to this for now. So let me say the font size. Font size will what? Let's say this one should be smaller, 20 pixels. Okay, good. Now let's see the output. Good, now you can see. So class make it what more specific. So the other one, the other thing you can do, we have what ID also. Let me explain ID here also. Let's say we have H3. Should I type H3 um font and development class. So if you want to style this, I can apply ID as an attribute ID, the one of what course special class. So come to my style again. So to style this one, use what hash as a prefix. Don't forget, if its class is what dot as prefix, but for this one, this ID is what hash as what prefix plus what the ID name. This is what class. Make sure this thing are matched. This thing, you want to give a class A should match what, so should match what you wrote there before. So let's see now. So they are fairly match. Okay. The color, orange, and just come and change the color also. And change to anyone you like. Okay. Just like this. So let's say we have font family. Okay. Font size. Font size. 45 pixel. Let's say 50 pixel. Also. Okay, guys. Now. So that is the ID. So we have three basic selectors that we have explained now. We have explained what the tab name, the what again, the class, and what using the ID. Also, we explain what colors and fonts. So let's talk about margin and padding here. We have padding. Let's see, we have a button tag. Button. Click here to submit. So this is the click to submit. All right. Let's try this now. What is the tag name? Button. If you like, you can apply, you can add class to it. If you like, you can use ID. But since we have at least a single button on our page, the try that we go with what using the tag name, which is button. Open what curly brackets. So let me say background color. So change the background color. Can see the background color is what is blue. So blue. Just tune it a bit. Yeah, this black color. Let's see. Wow, good. Okay, let me change the writing color, the text color. The text color should be what? White. Okay, we are moving that. So other thing we can do is like we have what we call padding. Padding can be applied to what? To the top, left, right, and bottom. So, or if I should use padding like this, I said padding 24 pixels. So it will automatically apply to what? All the four sides. So both left, top, and the right. Good. So, but if I want to apply to what a particular part, you can do what padding top, padding left, padding right, padding bottom. Okay. Also, let me install a kind of an arc that is easy to apply padding across four sides. But padding, we can say we want to apply it on the same value on y-axis and x-axis. Y-axis is like to the top and the bottom, they have the same value. Y to the left and right, they have the same value. So y for the x, y that one, and x for the what? For the x-axis. So let's say the y is what? 12 pixel. So the x is what? 34 pixel. That means it applied set 12 to what? Both top and bottom. Y 34 applied to what? Both left and right. Okay, let's see. That's now. Apply to what? Good. Also, if they have the different value, like the top, the left, and the right, they have different value. So this is how you do that also. So we say what? We have top first, followed by what? The right, followed by what? Bottom, followed by what? Left. So the top is what? 12 pixel. The right is what? That's 4 pixel. The bottom is what? 6 pixel. While the left is what? 12 pixel. Okay, let's see the output. I see it's apply different padding because that's how you give that one also. Okay. Okay, let me just stick with this. I think I love this one. This. Okay, now is that one. So we have some other thing called what? Border radius. So to make the angle like the edge to have what a very sharp like this place now show have very curved like a circle like this. So you can say border radius was 34 pixels. Really good. Okay, good. So next thing I want to apply to this was cursor pointer. Cursor was pointer so that if client or user or site move their cursor on top of our button, it should what show kind of like this thing was is clickable. As you all know, we have different cursor. We can have X cursor, we have a loading cursor, we have drag and drop cursor, different cursor. But what we learn now is what pointer. So to show that this thing is what is clickable. All right. So with this now, we have a kind of over state. Pseudo class over state. So you write button, column, and what over. You can change the background color. So and let me just reduce the opacity. Ah, so what is overview like? If a user just move the cursor on top of she wants to change the color, consider that how you did that. It's looking more good than it is now. Don't think you are doing all this stuff for fun or like you're doing all this like I'm not doing progress. Let's try to learn the basics first before we move towards building project. It will help us a lot. All right, let's continue. So the next thing we are moving towards margin. As we all see that padding affects what? The padding we applied earlier was affect the inner box. So now the margin affects what? The text and like the symbols that are on the same hierarchy and they are next to each other. Okay, let me explain by doing common practical. You can see now this h3 and button, they are symbols, right? Okay, let's see the output here. There's a kind of space here from this to this place. So that is what? Margin. So if you want to increase the margin, I can actually increase it. So how do I do that? I just come here, come to button, margin top, it's 4 pixel. So it's increase, it can see it increased the space between what button and, so you can increase the margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right, and you can use do the arc with length earlier about padding also from margin. So margin can be what? Y and X also, or T, right, bottom, left. So as anyhow you want it. So that's a quick explanation of margin. The next thing we're going to is what is flex box basis. Flex box is very, very important in laying out our website. So let me just kind of do a kind of, we have section. So section is we have a div. This first div as a class of what? Box 1. So I want a div here as a class of what? Box 2. So I have a div that was a class of what? Box 3. All right, now to style this, so we use dot box 1. So we have what's called what width, which is what 400 pixel, and the height is what 400 pixel also. So background color, it is when it's red. So I just like to duplicate for others so that you can get it faster. So this was what box 2, and this was box 3. So let's change this one to be what to be blue, and this one should be what green. Yes. All right, let's see what can I say. They are just one of each other. So you can flex them that they'll be like the red be air, blue will be air, and your green will be air using what flex box. What we only need is what is to select the appearance. What was appearance section? So let me get a class name called what? Container. Container. So it comes to the style. So I can say what always dot container. Let's display. So use display into that display, and really can be what flex. Okay, let's see the output. Automatically they are now what on the same row. So we have flex direction, but default value is what is 0. Flex direction, display direction, what flex direction, yeah, flex direction. So the default is what row. So can change the color. So it will be on the vertical axis. But the one is 0, and also have what gap. So to leave space between them, and say what gap to be what 34 pixel. 34 pixel. That's not a space between them. We can also have what a kind of justify content to make it what center, or space between. There are different words you can use. Space between center what again, space around. There are different words you can use. Center, so how it look like this center. Okay, you can see now this button and this what do you call it? These are box. They are like I can do with space here using what margin. The margin we thought we learned earlier was what margin top. What 34 for 3 pixels. So let's see that now. See it's now moving what down a bit. So that is about that one. So with this what we have learned now, let's try to what to lay our hands on the profile page. We are taught to what to our the assignments we are given earlier after we finish our HTML structure. We're taught to what to design a profile page that have your kind of picture, your names, or a kind of bio and a link for that. So now let's try to use these all these rules we have learned now to what to style it and see how we can go about it. So our live session will also be audio this weekend also. Let's try to join. Thank you for listening.